Hi, welcome to our Time for Twos program. And today we're going to hear all about gardens. It's one of Violet's favorite themes. So come on out, Violet. This is how Violet looks when she starts growing. And then, with some sun and some rain and some love, she grows and grows and grows until she looks just like we've always known her, with her petals nice and bright and her tall green stem. So let's have some stories about gardens. Can you pick one for us? This is called I Have a Garden. It's written and illustrated by Bob Barner and published by Holiday House. I have a garden. He's telling the story. I have a frog in my garden. I have a bird in my garden. I have a chipmunk in my garden. I have a bug in my garden. Do you know what that is? It's a grasshopper. I have a bee. I have a butterfly. I have a snail. And I have many flowers. This garden is all for me. No, this garden is for all of us. We have a garden. And I guess they're right. Well, let's do a new finger play. Can you put up your 5 fingers? But we're going to pretend each one of them is a tulip, a very pretty spring flower. And they grow very tall and straight, so make sure your fingers are nice and straight. 5 pretty tulips in the meadow grew. Said the dog. I bet they smell good too. So he bent down to sniff, but they tickled his nose. Achoo went the dog, and away one flower blows. So hide one away. 4 pretty tulips in the meadow grew. Said the dog. I bet they smell good too. So he bent down to sniff, but they tickled his nose. Achoo went the dog, and away one flower blows. 3 pretty tulips in the meadow grew. Said the dog. I bet they smell good too. So he bent down to sniff, but tickled his nose. Achoo went the dog, and away one flower blows. Oh, those are 2 hard ones to stand up, aren't they? 2 pretty tulips in the meadow grew. Said the dog. I bet they smell good too. So he bent down to sniff, and it tickled his nose. Achoo went the dog, and away one flower blows. Are you left with one? Okay. 1 pretty tulip in the meadow grew. Said the dog. I bet it smells good too. So he bent down to sniff, and it tickled his nose. Achoo went the dog, and away that flower blows. So are your flowers all gone? I know. So let's have another story about another dog in the garden. This is a story about Biscuit in the garden. It's by Alyssa Satin Capucilli, and it's illustrated by Pat Shores and published by Harper. Now there's a part in this story where Biscuit likes to talk. And do you know what he likes to say? He likes to say, woof, woof. So I hope you'll say woof, woof on every page when we get to Biscuit's part. Come along, Biscuit. It's time to visit the garden. Woof, woof. The garden is filled with so many things, Biscuit. Woof, woof. Just look at all the flowers and plants. Woof, woof. You found a butterfly, Biscuit. Woof, woof. You found a worm, too. Woof. Silly puppy, don't dig now. Woof, woof. Oh, Biscuit, you found a little bird. Is the little bird hungry? Woof, woof. Tweet. Well, let's feed the bird, Biscuit. Woof, woof. Wait, Biscuit. What do you see? Woof. 2 more little birds. Tweet, tweet. Here, little birds. Here's some bird seed. She's filling the feeder. But look at Biscuit here. Oh. Do you know what Biscuit said? I bet you do. Woof, woof. Come along, Biscuit. There's lots more to see. Tweet, said the bird. Biscuit said, woof, woof. Tweet, tweet. Woof. Oh no, Biscuit. Not the bird seed. Woof, woof. Tweet, 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 tweet. Just look at all the birds now. Woof, woof. The garden is filled with so many things, Biscuit. Woof, woof. But you filled the garden with lots of birds, too. Tweet, tweet. And what did Biscuit say? One more time. Woof. And there he is in his garden. Lots of pretty flowers, and now lots of pretty birds. Well, I think we're going to do a finger play about a beehive. Bees love to be around the flowers in the garden, and they help pollinate them so that the flowers grow big and strong and beautiful. So can you make a fist with your hand? And to me that looks a little like a beehive. Here is a beehive. But where are the bees? Why, they're hiding inside where nobody sees. Let's count them as they come out of their hive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what do bees say when they come out of their hive? They say bzzz, and then they go right back in their hive. And I'm going to go right back over here and get us another story. This is a story called Lola Plants a Garden, because most gardens do have to get planted by people. This is a story by McQuinn with illustrations by Rosalind Beardshaw. And we have other stories about Lola in our library collection. You might want to come and check them out. In fact, one of them is about when Lola goes to the library. And right at the beginning, it has the nursery rhyme that I bet a lot of you know. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row. This book is published by Charlesbridge. Lola loves her book of garden poems. Her favorite poem is the one about Mary, Mary, the one I just read. Lola wants to plant a garden. Mommy says there is room near the vegetables. Lola gets books about gardens from the library. She chooses her favorite flowers from the books, and Mommy makes a list. They go to the garden store to buy seeds. Lola and Mommy make the garden. The seed packets mark where the flowers are planted. Lola will have to wait a long time for them to grow. Lola makes her own flower book while she waits. Mommy types the Mary, Mary poem, and Lola glues it right into her book. Lola makes a string of bells, and she finds shells and some old beads. She even makes a little Mary, Mary for her garden. One day, Lola sees tiny green shoots. That's what they call baby plants. She pulls up weeds so the shoots can grow. Lola's flowers grow bigger. They open up to the sun. Daddy helps Lola hang her shining bells. Do you remember the silver bells from the poem? And Lola finds Mary Mary a special spot in the garden. It's just perfect. Orla, Ben, and Ty are coming to see Lola's garden. So Lola and Mommy make cupcakes. Lola wears her flowered shirt, and Mommy helps Lola with her hair. Look, she put some flowers in her hair. Doesn't she look pretty? I think so. Lola's friends love everything about her garden. They share the crunchy peas and the sweet strawberries that Mommy grew. And then Lola makes up a story about Mary Mary. What kind of garden will Lola plant next? I'm not sure, but there's a new poem at the back. Lola, Lola, extraordinary, how does your garden grow? With flower seeds and shells and beads and happy friends all in a row. I think Lola is very happy with her garden, don't you? Well, do you think that you could put up your hand again? And this time your 5 fingers are going to be something that Lola and her friends ate. Do you remember what they ate? I remember strawberries, but I also remember pea pods. Those are tasty. They're crunchy and sweet. So we're going to have our pea pods hanging on the vine. So down around the corner in my garden so fine, there were 5 little pea pods hanging on a vine. Along comes a rabbit who wants something to munch. He takes 1 pea pod and eats it for his lunch. So hide away one of those pea pods. Down around the corner in my garden so fine, there were 4 little pea pods all hanging on a vine. Along comes a rabbit who wants something to munch. He takes 1 pea pod and eats it for his lunch. So now we have 3. Down around the corner in my garden so fine, there are 3 little pea pods hanging on the vine. Along comes a rabbit who wants something to munch. He takes 1 pea pod and he eats it for his lunch. Well, down around the corner in my garden so fine, there are 2 pea pods just hanging on the vine. Along comes a rabbit who wants something to munch. He takes 1 pea pod and he eats it for his lunch. So just 1 now. Down around the corner in my garden so fine, there is 1 little pea pod hanging on the vine. Along comes the rabbit who wants something to munch. He takes that pea pod and he eats it for his lunch. So now we're all out of pea pods, but we're not all out of stories. We still have time for 1 more, and then we'll have our flannel board. This is called This Is Your Garden. It's written by Maggie Smith. She did the illustrations, and it's published by Crown Publishers. This is your garden. It is yours and yours alone. It's yours for keeps. There are things you will need for your garden: your own space for planting, good tools, and seeds. Some seeds you may get from your family and friends. Some you will find in your backyard. Others you might even find inside your own pocket. I wonder if those are sunflower seeds. First, make a nice, soft bed in the ground. Not for you, but for the seeds. Dig the warm soil and take out any big stones, and then scatter the seeds or place them in rows, and then cover them up with a blanket of earth. Now they'll need water and sun, light and time. You could tell them a story or sing them a song of encouragement. Soon tiny seedlings will poke up their heads to see what's going on out there. They will be very delicate at first, so you will need to protect them. Pull up any weeds that try to crowd them out, and shoo away the crows and bugs that might harm your seedlings. And as the little plants grow, some will be straight, some will be wobbly, and some might be thirstier than others, but they will all need you. This is your garden. There will be days when it's dark and rainy, and you can't tend to your garden, but you can sit inside with your favorite book, and you'll know that your garden is getting a good soaking. But sometimes, even if it's sunny, you may wander through other gardens just to see what's growing there. In some gardens, well, a quick peek is just enough. But in others, you could stay all day. They may have flowers you want to grow in your garden too. Maybe you can find some seeds. Your garden will wait for you, and it will always be happy to see you when you return. And as your garden grows fuller, you may need to thin some things out. That means pull some of the plants. You can kiss them goodbye and say you'll visit them on Thursdays. I think she's going to give those to a friend, which is a nice thing to do. Now there is room for the plants to flourish and space to add something new. And if you think that your garden isn't growing fast enough, do not worry. Give it plenty of water, let the light shine, and your garden will grow in its own perfect time. Isn't that magnificent? So are we ready for the flannel board story? I've got it prepared for us with a garden. I don't know if you can tell, this is the dirt down here that the plants are growing in. Well, 5 spring flowers all in a row. The first one said, we need rain to grow. The second one said, oh yes, we need water. And the third one said, oh, it's getting hotter and hotter. The fourth one said, I see a cloud up in the sky. The fifth one said, I wonder why. But then boom went the thunder, and crash went the lightning, and the springtime storm was a little bit frightening. But the flowers weren't worried. Oh no, no, no. Because the rain helped them to grow and grow and grow. Nice garden, don't you think? So those are our stories today. Violet loves this theme, and she and I both thank you for joining us for today's program. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.